Come with us on a journey into the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievable. We will test your senses and challenge your beliefs. A world where science and religion clash. Or do they? You will meet real people and hear real stories, but you will not believe. You will witness strange sights and hear strange sounds, but you will not believe. This is the New England Ghost Project. Welcome to the nightmare.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ghost Chronicles Next Generation. I am Ron Kolek. She is not. And this is our 7th show.
I know.
And this is, of course, Anne Kerrigan.
Wow.
And we were talking before the show, anyways, about selfies, right? Right? You know, you take a selfie this way or that way. I don't know how you do it.
Does that phone take pictures?
It has a button.
It's so old, I can't even imagine it takes a picture.
Yeah, but it has buttons.
He doesn't know how to do it.
I do, but it costs like 25 cents to take a picture, and I'm not going to take it. So anyways, you're listening to Ghost Chronicles Next Generation with Anne Kerrigan and Ron Kolek right here on TogiNet, Parax,
Yes.
Ghost Channel, and far beyond. Or you can even listen to us on a smartphone, unlike this dumb one I have, with your TuneIn app. So
Cool.
Yeah,
How do they get the TuneIn app?
they go to the TuneIn thing and it'll tell you. I don't know.
They go to the App Store.
You see
Yes.
what I have? Well, look,
Yes.
take another picture.
Yes.
Last time was never mind, but
You don't want to know what he just took a picture of.
the App
but
Store?
here we are.
the App Store.
The App Store on iTunes.
Okay, App Store is assigned to it. So anyways, we have a great show tonight, right?
Yes.
We have
Yes, we do.
a guest.
I hope so.
We do. We have
Last time I looked.
we have an amazing guest from Leanne Wilber from the Lizzie Borden house.
Yes.
Right, and of course.
Hence, we are attired appropriately.
We have lots of questions to ask her. To ask her.
I need to ask you a question.
Okay. So, anyways, we have also one of your things,
One of my things, yes, we have a cemetery tripping coming up.
and it's related to Lizzie Borden house.
It is
too, I
directly
understand.
related to the Lizzie Borden house, and
Okay.
it is a cemetery from Fall River.
So that's exciting. So why don't we play that? And there you go.
Let's cue that up.
Maybe not.
Welcome to Cemetery Tripping, where I will feature a different cemetery in each episode that I hope you will seek out and enjoy as much as I do. As an avid taphophile, or lover of tombstones, I spend a lot of time in the local New England area in the beautiful and historic cemeteries we have here. The stones here are like no others, and I have literally thousands of pictures of the intricate and symbolic carvings found on them. You can see my pictures on Facebook by doing a search for Cemetery Tripping. Hello and welcome to Cemetery Tripping. We're here today at Fall River's Oak Grove Cemetery, which has a very special grave that you may be interested in. Let's go take a look. We all know the story of Lizzie Borden, alleged murderess of her father and stepmother. On August 4, 1892, Andrew Borden and his second wife Abby were killed by an axe-wielding murderer in the family home at 92 2nd Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. On August 6, 1892, the day that Andrew and Abby were put to rest, Mayor John Coughlin announced that Lizzie Borden was a suspect. The murders have never been solved due to extensive media coverage. Lizzie's arrest and subsequent trial made world news and was followed by the media daily across the country and the world. Because of the horrific nature of the crime, this case has gone down in history as being a fascination to academics and amateur sleuths alike. The Borden family plot is located in Fall River's Oak Grove Cemetery. Oak Grove, Fall River's largest city-owned cemetery, was developed in the mid-19th century as a rural garden cemetery, inspired by Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge, and its natural beauty and imposing monuments reflect the wealth and pride of the mill owners and the city's elite buried there. As in life, nothing about Andrew Borden's stone is ornate, although it is a large marker with all the family names on it. Only small markers indicate the resting places within the plot. Although ultimately acquitted of the crimes, Lizzie was shunned by society. She changed her name to Lisbeth, which you can see on her stone, and lived the rest of her life as a spinster, not even spoken to by her own sister Emma. Ironically, 10 days after Lizzie died of pneumonia, Emma died in a mysterious fall.
And we're back.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So what's the story? I mean, her sister died?
She mysteriously, she died in a fall 10 days after.
10 days?
I don't know.
Why don't we ask our guest? So without further ado, why don't we introduce to you someone who probably knows more about Lizzie Borden house, because she actually lives in the freaking thing.
Yeah, nice.
Leanne Wilber.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
So did she die 10 days after?
9 days.
9 days?
9 days?
I think I said 10 in the cemetery tripping.
That's all
so.
right. Wait.
They were 9 years apart in life. They were 9 days apart in death.
Oh my God.
Did she die in Fall River?
Emma or Lizzie?
I don't know. Whoever we're talking about.
Lizzie died in Fall River, and Emma died in Newmarket, New Hampshire.
Newmarket.
The mystery,
Anyway.
the mystery deepens.
So, anyways, if anybody does have a question for us, they can reach us in the TojiNet or the Pararex chat room, and one of our helpful staff will
Yes,
give us the question. Right. And we also have a studio audience again.
we do.
Yeah, although we
do.
lost one, we're down to 2 now.
It's not as big as it was.
I know.
So we've lost it by a third.
Third,
Is that
that's
how it
pretty
works?
bad, yeah, so, anyways,
But that's okay.
we have joining us in the studio, of course, is Leanne Wilber, who is actually in my book, Ghost Chronicles. Can I have the book here? See, book.
Well, you had to give them a minute to zoom in, you know.
Book.
We're working on it. It's okay.
So, anyways, my book, Ghost Chronicles, if it ever shows. There is a chapter in which you are in it.
Really?
Yeah. I gave you this book.
I hope so.
You've read it, right? Please tell me you read it.
I don't know.
You probably charged her for it.
No, I did not.
You probably did. It was
Okay, there's the book.
Charge me twice.
They did it.
Charge me double.
I quit. Forget it.
Hey, you have no patience, man.
I know.
Anyways,
So, anyways, let's talk about Lizzie Borden house. Now, you actually live in the Lizzie above the garage, is it?
It seems like I live there. I'm there all the time.
Yeah. No, do you not live there, or do you really live there?
I actually own a house in Warwick, Rhode
You do?
Island. Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah, not many people do.
Anytime I see you, you're there.
I know. I visit my house once or twice a week. I say hi to my plants, pick up my mail.
So you do stay there overnight and stuff.
Doesn't seem like I do, no.
At Lizzie Borden? No, I mean not your house, Lizzie Borden house.
I pretty much have become one with my futon at Lizzie's house.
And you
yes.
still have the cat?
Max is home, yes. He disappeared for 3 weeks and then he came home.
Awesome.
oh wow,
And
out carousing.
so, I mean, the Lizzie Borden house, you can actually rent the room in there, right?
Yes, we are a bed and breakfast.
And you can stay overnight.
Yes, you can.
And many people do.
Many people do and some do not.
And many ghost hunters do too, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And you've done many, many events there as well, right?
With many groups. I can't remember them all. You're lucky I remember who you are.
How can you forget?
No one will ever forget Ron
There you go.
Kolek. Come on.
There you go. So, anyways, the interesting thing, and I've been dying to ask you this, I've been thinking about this question ever since I realized you're going to be on the show, is that all these people come in and they all have their own findings. I know that some of them will mesh, have the same findings, but there are other ones that you've
Are
never
kind of
heard
out
anything
there.
before. So, I mean, how do you perceive it? I mean, what if somebody tells you something that doesn't fit into what you're thinking?
I just listen to what everyone has to say and sort of take it all in and file it. And if it's totally off the wall, I just smile and go, okay, that's interesting. We've never heard that one before.
what have people? Can you recall anything like really just crazy that people have come up with?
I was there. That's pretty crazy.
That was pretty crazy, yeah. I'd rather not say because it might
Oh, right.
Oh, that's
She doesn't
true.
wanna offend.
identify
Right, yeah.
certain groups.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
shouldn't
agree.
put you
I
on the
agree.
spot. I'm sorry.
So let's go the opposite way then. What are most people coming up with as far as conclusions on the Lizzie Borden house? First, I guess the question, and I think we did have it in the chat room, was like, did Lizzie do it? I guess that's the question. Did Lizzie give her father 40 whacks?
Or do you think?
Do you
I
trust
think
him with that?
No.
no. He walked in with it. I was a little nervous because
Sorry, I almost brought mine. You're lucky I didn't.
I left mine at home.
We
I
could have
thought
dual
on the way in
axes.
this morning, I thought I really need to bring it.
We could fence with hatchets.
There you go. So anyways, do you believe Lizzie Borden did it?
I believe Lizzie was involved.
Okay.
I still don't know to this day if she committed the crime herself, but I believe she did have knowledge of it.
I think the second half of that question that was asked in the chat was, or do you think she was set up?
Setup has never come across.
No.
Yeah. By who actually?
Well, I don't know. You know, it's an interesting theory, though. I mean, there's so many theories about, I mean, the whole scenario.
I mean, there's been so many investigations. I mean, there's been some really good ones too, where they've come in. I remember, I think you were telling me about it, in fact, Leanne, about, was it the History Channel or something, where they, or some other group, they actually brought in that glow-in-the-dark stuff for the blood and everything
Oh, the
else.
luminol.
Oh,
Yeah, luminol, right?
That was, I think, Scared. Brought the luminol
Well,
in.
there's plenty of
A couple
others.
of groups have brought
A
it.
couple of
brought it.
different groups, yeah.
Because she had told me that before Scared had ever even gone in there.
Oh, okay.
I have a problem with that luminol test.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Borden bled heavily into the sofa,
Yeah.
and there wasn't enough blood pooled around the floor for that to seep through where they're spraying it in the basement. I mean, Mrs. Borden bled straight into the floor.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, that the blood was that heavy,
Right.
there would have been a blood stain on the ceiling of the sitting room,
Right.
and there wasn't. So I think they
Botched it?
are concocted.
I didn't say that.
I don't know.
I'm in enough
TV
trouble.
is TV.
And, okay, so
What are you hiding behind those glasses? We'll never know.
you'll never know. You never know where my
Behind
eyes go,
those
that's all. It's
Fostograms,
amazing.
yeah.
So the interesting thing is we did an investigation, Maureen and myself, many years ago, and it's been quite a few years, believe it or not. And we came up with results, and I'm not saying, once again, these are just what we thought, and that's not necessarily right or wrong, and probably wrong. But we thought there were two killers in the house. We had a woman for old Lizzie, and we had some guy for the old Nan. Does that fit in anywhere with any of the other things that you were talking about?
I've heard that too.
You have, huh?
But
You probably
again,
read my book and got it, that's why. No, I'm
Could
just
be.
kidding.
That's why I'm having nightmares.
But
I'm just going to stop trying to be funny now. Go ahead.
No, that's funny. Good.
But I mean, again, another legit theory. I mean, it would explain. I think it's kind of unusual that you had two people murdered in this house, and
Not at the same
wouldn't
time, either.
well, not at the same time. And would you think there would have been some noise made that would have alerted one, you know, to the other? I mean,
No, Mr. Bourne wasn't home.
Aha!
oh, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, so what was the chronology? What was the order of events?
Mrs. Borden was murdered between 8:30 and 9 a.m.,
Okay.
and Mr. Borden was murdered around 11 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a big.
Oh, see, I didn't
Difference, yeah.
realize that. I didn't realize that he was not home at the time that she was murdered, supposedly. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, there are
I
many
thought you
theories of
studied
it.
this.
And the disappearing of the dress and all that stuff, Lizzie's burning and all mixes up into the pot. I mean, there's so many theories, that's, I guess.
Well, the dress burning was explained away during the trial
Yeah.
when
perspiration.
Lizzie's sister, no, Lizzie, everything. Lizzie's sister said the dress had paint on it. Lizzie said the dress had paint on it.
So why
The
not burn it,
dressmaker said the dress had paint on it. The man who painted the house the day the dress got stained took the stand and said he painted the house.
So there you go.
But the question remained, why did she have to burn this dress the morning after she was informed she was the prime suspect in the case?
Right.
Huh.
Right.
Now, the other interesting thing, too, is we talk about the 40 wax. So this is an axe, right? This is
appears
not
to
what
be.
they found there, correct?
It was a hatchet, a little smaller.
A little smaller, but did they find the whole hatchet?
No.
That was the point of that.
The day of the murders, Bridget Sullivan, the housekeeper, took the police around the house and showed them where all the axes and hatchets were kept. And there were several in the house because they did have a wood stove. The handleless hatchet, which was presented eventually at Lizzie's trial as the suspected murder weapon, was found on Thursday in a box behind the furnace with some other broken tools. And the police took it out, they looked at it, determined it was of no consequence. They put it back in the box. Box went back on the shelf. Saturday, when the family left for the grave site, the police come back in and do another search of the house and rediscover the handleless hatchet at that time.
Rediscover?
Another set of officers find it, and that's when it's taken into evidence.
Okay.
Ah.
Did they find any blood on the handle at all or anything? No.
No.
So that's just another shot in the dark.
One of many.
Did-
Dr. Bone could have said it was a meat cleaver, and we'd all be looking for a meat cleaver.
This is
Somebody
true.
just happened to say it was a hatchet.
I mean, the house has a history of death as well prior to it. Oh, no, wait a minute. That wasn't a house. I'm thinking of the house next to it with all the children being... Is that a true story?
Yes.
You want to expound upon that first? If that's
In
even a word.
1848, the house next door to Mr. Borden's house was owned at that time by a man named Lizzie Borden, who was actually Mr. Borden's uncle. His second wife, Eliza, tried to drown the 3 children. 2 did drown, 1 survived, the oldest one, Mary. And then the story is that Eliza went to the basement and cut her throat.
Oh,
And the 2 younger children, Eliza and Holder, they died in that well.
wow.
And that was 3 years after the Borden house was built and long before Mr. Borden purchased it.
Now,
That's unusual.
Some of the investigators that investigated Lizzie Borden house say that that's what they're picking up on. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense to you in any way, as that these spirits would be still hanging around there as well?
It's possible. I mean, some of the activity, especially on the 3rd floor, seems to be very childlike activity.
Okay. And
But why they would be in that house, I don't know.
yeah, see,
Right.
that's the thingy.
I had never heard that, so that's a new story.
Well, you hang around me, you'll learn a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know,
All right.
I'm old as dirt, remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who comes up all the time with all these investigations? Who haunts the Lizzie Borden house?
Mr. Borden.
Mr. Borden?
And I really do think Mrs. Borden is there.
Mrs. Borden as
I
well.
have pictures.
You have pictures?
Ah.
Did you bring them?
I did.
Too late. I don't know. Can we do ask our floor manager? Maybe we can zoom in or something. How big are they?
Oh, they're pretty big.
Floor manager, can we zoom in on if I held the picture up?
Okay.
All right. So,
All right.
do you want to? Well, actually, you can hold the picture up because you're going to be explaining it.
And then you want to see the flies, right?
The what?
I told you what happened with the GA guys, right?
Whoa. Let's go with the
Hey.
pictures and we'll talk about the other things later. Is my fly down? No. All right. So, she is actually.
I even have the ghost cat.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So.
Oh, and I have that one.
Well, that one and that one, we got to show these things. So you have to hold it up in front of you like this.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
getting
and
there.
Talk about a specific one, because remember, this is, you have to describe it as well, because we're also doing radio at the same time.
Oh no, do I have the Mrs. Borden one? Yes, I do. Good.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. We
goodness.
No,
think.
sit.
What?
Sit.
I'm just
That's okay.
adjusting myself.
We're a little nervous.
Okay, we think that this might be Mr. Borden.
So you hold the picture up right in front of you, yeah,
just like that.
just like that, and explain what is in the picture, because we're also doing radio.
Okay, this is a photograph that was taken about 7 years ago, and it was
see the
an
nose.
orb. You know, people get orbs. I get pictures sent to me of orbs all the time.
Okay.
But this one, if you look at it, you can clearly see a face in it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was taken in the John Morse room, where Mrs. Borden's body was found, but we believe it might be Mr. Borden.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, it's
If you
definitely
can
Can I
see
take a look
the-
at that? I mean, I have my dark
Definitely.
glasses on, but
definitely a face.
what do you think?
Yeah, I could see it better when it was over there. Wait, hold it way far away. No, but I definitely see a face in there. The eye, the nose.
Is that matrix?
Forehead.
Or are we really seeing it?
Okay.
Who's to say? Who's to say? But
I just said, didn't you hear me?
that's. It is really interesting, and I know Ron. You know, Ron and I were at the Lizzie Borden house back
Yes, we
in
were.
2011. We do have some.
I was a lot younger then.
Yes, we all were, dear. But I know at that time you have a medium, psychic medium.
She was doing table tipping, right?
Yes, we did table
Do you remember who she
tipping.
was?
Liz.
Liz, okay.
Yeah.
No relation
Ironically,
to Lizzie
Liz. But it seemed like at that time, you know, that's who was the strongest presence, you know, was Mr. Borden. And he was very, very strong.
Oh, we have a question
You
up there,
know?
I think.
Oh, we do. Let's see. We have, what is the most bizarre evidence that Leanne has received?
Ooh.
And what are your favorites?
The most bizarre evidence?
Yeah.
Huh.
You don't have to mention names. Like Mayan.
There was this time when Ron, no.
Ran around naked.
Oh,
Wearing the
God.
maid Evidence myself. Start with there. I've had plenty of things happen to me personally over the last 10 years. I've had lights go on and off. I've had strange odors where there just shouldn't be them, you know, smells. I've had furniture move on me. I've been touched. I've been pushed.
So, did you actually see the furniture move?
I went to bed one night in Bridget's room up on the 3rd
Yep.
floor. And when I went to sleep, the little child's rocking chair was to the left of the bed where it always is. And when I woke up the morning, it was to the right of the bed, facing the bed like someone was watching me sleep.
Oh.
So that bothered me a little bit.
Ew. Yeah.
Sort of like me, huh?
I've had I had a shadow on the front staircase. I was watching it one night and I watched it walk up the staircase, and as it went up the staircase, every light in the chandelier that was in the front entryway blew out. And that was the first night I slept in my car.
Oh my God.
I
Oh.
can't blame you there, seriously. I mean, that would, although I'd be kind of like, ooh, cool. So cool.
Oh man. That is frightening.
So I see you've got another photograph there.
I do.
And what is this?
This was taken by a young woman on a day tour a few years ago, and she sent it to us. This is a blow up of the picture, and she sent us the picture, and she said, "Do you see anything
You have to hold it.
in
one
the
second.
window?" And then we blew it up, and we said, "Oh yes, yes we do."
Oh my God. Wow.
So describe
Here.
that for us.
We think it's Mrs. Borden.
So that's a face in the window?
Wow. That is, yeah. That's crazy.
And we're not quite sure what to make of it, but we think it might be Mrs. Borden.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Now, was that
her
an
bedroom.
inside window or outside window?
Inside.
So it's looking out?
Oh no, she was standing in the parking lot taking a photograph. So she's
No,
ins-
the
she's
person in the window
is inside the house.
is inside the house. That's what I was getting at.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I remember when Gavin Cromwell was there, he said there was, in the front room there was somebody who was a watcher.
Oh.
I don't know anything about that, but was his theory. There's so many of them. That's the interesting thing about it.
Wow.
But
That's
I will,
creepy.
I will tell you, the first time I went there and met Leanne, I did have a freaky experience, and I'm sure you don't remember because you've met so many people there at the time. But we did the investigation. Haunted Devon was there from the UK, and Gavin Cromwell. And at the end of the night, everybody left. And as I was going to leave, I had a cut on my hand. I had no clue how it happened. And so Leanne gave me a bandage, and I put a bandage on it, and I went out. This was late at night.
Powerpuff Girl one, I think.
Pardon me?
I think it was a Powerpuff Girl bandage.
Whatever. So anyways, I got out to the car, and I looked at my hand again, and I had another cut on my hand. And I went back in
Really?
and pounded on the door, and Leanne opened the door and gave me another bandage.
Another pink
so I had two
Band-Aid.
mysterious cuts that showed up. I have no clue why, how, what, when, where, who.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Wow.
So there you go. Many strange things happened at the Lizzie Borden. Do you remember that at all? Just by curiosity? No, huh?
I just remember the Powerpuff Girl bandage.
And we do have another question as well,
Okay.
from Ceiling Cat.
Oh, that's Pararex. Hey, Pararex.
Oh, what happened to Lizzie's boyfriend? She had a boyfriend?
Not that we're aware of.
Oh,
There were
okay.
rumors, but never anyone proven to be her boyfriend.
There's actually some talk about her being.
Not necessarily.
I'm just saying there was. I didn't say she was.
There were rumors.
The
Yeah.
rumors. That's right.
Playing for the other team.
Playing for the other team.
Okay.
Exactly.
But
All right.
back
Not
then,
that there's anything wrong with that.
No, no.
yeah, but back then, I mean, you were the property of your father until you got married and then became the property of your husband.
Right.
Now she's got her inheritance and her freedom. Why is she going to be controlled by another man?
Absolutely.
This is true.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be controlled by another man.
Good for
So,
you.
anyways, I mean, I don't know how much time we got. We're going good? Okay, good. I have a video piece I want to play, and so can we cue that up? Don't play it quite yet until I introduce it. But last time Ann and I were there, and we did a live broadcast of Ghost Chronicles.
We did,
actually.
yeah.
It was the radio version, and
I have repressed memories of that, yes.
you are funny at times. And you had received a phone call on your iPhone. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So we actually have that. So can we play that for us now there, Mr. Director?
Okay.
Okay. That was actually a edited copy of it. So why don't you set up this phone thing? And we have the video, right? Okay.
This is the
Yeah, okay.
the guy from Alaska, right?
I don't know, it was on your cell phone. You didn't know how to take the video off it, of the call, I mean the audio of the call. And so you had actually a picture of your cell phone, and there were
Okay.
Holly pipes in between it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I remember I had 4 guests in the house, 2 from Australia, 2 from Alaska, and they had gone to bed. I'm in my office, I'm just sitting back watching a movie, and my cell phone rings. Sorry, not the cell phone, my house phone rings. And I pick up the house phone, and the caller ID says that Lizzie Borden is calling me. So my first thought was, okay, you know, one of the guests in the house is calling me from that other house phone in the office. And so I pick it up, and I said hello, and I hear nothing. But before the phone hung up, all I heard was
Oh.
click. And then I look at the time, I was like, maybe I should go check on the guests. So I went into the house, and before I did, I went down into the gift shop, and I just peeked, and the second phone was actually in the gift shop with me.
So you had both phones.
I had both phones.
Okay.
Ooh, that's freaky.
Wow.
So I went into the house.
He's in the house.
I look up the front stairs. The doors to both doors are closed. So as far as I know, the guests are both in their rooms. I went up to the back stairs just to make sure all the lights were off. And I run into the guests from Alaska. And they're upstairs taking photographs. And I start chatting with them for a little bit. And I said, you didn't happen to call me in the office, did you? They said, no. So I told them what happened. And while I'm standing there chatting with them, the phone rings again. It's actually a customer this time. And I head back into the office to take the messages. Not long after that, house phone rings again. It's the couple from Alaska. And they said, did you call our cell phone? And I said, no. He said, well, I have a really weird call from this number on it. And then a couple of calls I just can't explain. So I went back into the house and I listened to them and I was like, okay, what did you do to upset the, the household gods here?
Wow.
Well, I found out later that his girlfriend had put on one of the dresses that had been on the mannequins.
Ooh.
And they had taken pictures of her in
I
it.
thought I was the only one who
Oh,
did that.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I dose those dresses heavily with itching powder now. So
Ooh. Note to
But yeah.
myself.
Don't
They-
try on the
Don't try
dresses,
to
Ron.
dress on. So we do have the video now. So continue the video we have.
well, it was a correspondence back and forth between the house phone and their cell phone. And when I looked at the house, the number on his cell phone, he says, you didn't make that call. I said, I looked at the timestamp and said, how could I? I was on the back stairs, upstairs on the third floor talking with you.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Wow.
So now we have the video,
Okay.
and we're going to play that. So can we play that now? This is the video
It
part.
says phone call.
Okay, let's try that one again without the Harley pipes. Okay. And the 911-666-1870 call.
Okay.
Okay, so
And
there you
it-
go.
Did you see, I don't know if anybody who was watching that caught the first 3 digits of that top phone number, because they were 911.
Right, and it was.
You can't have a 911 area code.
And what was it after that, though?
666.
Right. And what was the caller ID on it?
There wasn't one,
There wasn't one?
no.
I thought
And
the
then it
original
was-
one said Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, another one said Lizzie Borden.
Yep,
But the
okay.
caller ID, that was the only caller ID one.
Wow.
Okay.
That's kind of, that blows my mind. And I know, like, there's nothing that you can really see in the video except the very beginning and the very end where you see the phone.
But you can hear it.
But, you know, you can hear that.
So you have shown this to many people, right?
A few, yes.
So what do they think it says?
They haven't come up with anything yet.
Oh, we did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you never told me.
So if we have that audio again, we can play that audio part. And what we came up with is actually 2 voices on it. This sounds like, we analyzed it like we would analyze an EVP. And basically, one says the other, what the hell? No, you are dead. What the hell? I've lost my head. And
Or
there's
where the
another
hell,
little-
doesn't it say where the hell is my head?
Something. No, it says what the hell else is my head or something. Well, whatever. So we'll play it again, and you tell us what you think. So can we play that one? This is the one that's just the audio.
It says EVP.
EVP. Thank you,
EVP.
Ann. So there you go.
That is one
So
nasty.
that is a freaky phone call.
Ugh.
I get freaky phone calls all the time.
Well, we're not talking about your personal life, Leah.
But that sounds so just snarly and nasty and just elemental.
Sounds like me in the morning. I
Yeah,
tell you,
before you've had your coffee,
You
right?
bet you believe it. So, I mean, are you ever afraid? I mean, you said one time you did sleep in the car, but other than that, have you ever been afraid to go into Lizzie Borden house?
I've actually slept in the car twice
Twice.
in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Never really been afraid, but I've been unnerved.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where I'll just start just saying, I'm just getting my tea, I'll be out here in 5 minutes, just leaving now, won't be, have a good night, not coming back, don't worry. I don't necessarily get weirded out in the house too much. I'm just trying to block it. A couple of times I have been, let's say, unsettled. The cat was unsettled at the same time. So I was just kind of at the point like, yeah, we're leaving. Come on, let's go.
Now, you said you had a picture of a ghost cat
Yeah.
in your book?
Before our real cat showed up, before Max
Really?
showed up.
Max is a black cat, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
3 white toes. And there's an interesting story how he came about. When Donald and I bought the house 10 years ago, we were told there was a ghost cat in the house. And I'm like, okay, ghost cat, sure.
Yeah.
And the former owner had put, or get people who had stayed there and employees, there's little black cats around the house. If you go, they're still there today.
Oh,
Little
right.
black cats with gold eyes.
Okay. Yes, I remember.
Little ceramic cats.
Okay.
And I was told we had a ghost cat. All right, great. Never having had a cat, I didn't know what to expect. Guests started telling me, I never mentioned the ghost cat, but guests would start telling me, or saying, why didn't you say you had a cat? I'm like, we don't have a cat. Well, we heard the cat meowing outside our door and we went to go let it in and it wasn't there. Or we heard the cat scratching at the door and same thing. Or the cat jumped on our bed in the middle of the night.
Oh.
Or I have allergies, you should have told me you had a cat.
Oh,
my
really? So they
God.
were actually physically affected by it?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
3 people.
That is very interesting.
3 people.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't have a cat. So one night, some guests are using the Ouija board they brought in, and they had the thing moving along, and I'm sitting there watching it. And they said, do you have any questions? I said, sure. What's the cat's name? It's spelled out M-A-K-S. Max.
Oh.
About 7 months later, the neighbors move in next door. There's a yellow house next to us, and there's an apartment facing our side. And they move in, and they have a cat, black cat. And he's an indoor cat. Where, we'd see him lounging in various windows about the house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one day, this indoor cat becomes an outdoor cat. And we didn't think much of it because the weather was nice. Maybe they just let him out now. One of my employees who did have cats, every day she'd see him, and he was very friendly and very scrawny.
Oh.
And she'd give him a new name and start playing with him. So one day she's on the grass playing with him. He's rolling around, she's petting him, and I'm watching. One of the guys who worked next door is leaning on the wall. He says, I see you've met Max.
Oh, wow.
And
So the name
that's our
came.
Max.
Wow.
And then the neighbors moved away and left him behind, so I took him in.
Wow.
And I've had him for about 7 years now.
Oh. Wow. Well, that was meant to be. Wow.
But he looks like every black cat in the house with gold eyes,
Wow.
minus the 3 white toes.
I had the same cat 18 years.
Wow.
I cried for 2 days when he died.
Oh, yeah.
I was so sad.
But
So you have a ghost cat, though. So let's-
prior to our Max showing up, we had a reporter from Toronto come and stay with us about 8 years ago, about a year before Max showed up. And he was doing an article for his paper. And when he gets home, he sends me this photograph, and he says, do you see what I see? He was walking around the house after everyone had gone to bed taking random photos. And he took this one in the kitchen.
Okay, can we zoom in on that photo, please? Okay, there we go. And where's the cat? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Right there.
And it's hard with my dark glasses.
There's an orb, which I
Uh-huh.
don't take too much stock in.
Yeah.
But there's the cat
Wow.
sitting next to the stove.
Where it's warm. Right?
You know what's really interesting is that I never thought that there was really such thing as ghost animals.
Uh-huh.
But really, when I started investigating years and years and years ago, I did this house called the 1859 house. It was a club, actually. And we were upstairs, and all of a sudden I felt like there was a cat that was like rubbing it. You know how cats rub against your legs? I says, this is weird, but I feel like there's a cat. rubbing against me. So Thermal Dan was here, and he had the thermal imager.
Thermal Dan, yeah.
You know, that's why we call him that, because he used the thermal imager.
Thermal Dan.
And he looked up, and sure enough, it appeared that there was a cat rubbing against me in the thermal imaging.
Huh. That's pretty crazy.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, remember I told you about the shadow that I saw going up the front stairs?
Yep.
Yes.
You have a photograph of that?
Here's the shadow on the back stairs.
Okay, can we zoom in on that one?
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank our crew, by the way, for being able to zoom in on these pictures. That's awesome. And basically,
Thank you,
this is
crew.
the back stairs, and on the
I think that's Zach.
left-hand side, you can
Zach on the cameras.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. You can see the dark shadow.
Wow.
Right.
On the left-hand side there. Wow.
Oh, that's very cool.
If you want your own pictures, you have to come back.
Okay. Oh, we do. We have another question. Question from Sam. Why did you sleep in the car the second time?
See? Because I was there, right?
Ron was
I
in the
know.
house.
That's scary enough.
The second time, I was just very uncomfortable. I couldn't fall asleep.
Nothing specific.
Nothing I could pinpoint. I was very, if I'm remembering correctly, it was like I was feeling pins and needles, and I just couldn't get comfortable. And since the office wasn't finished yet and we're still in the middle of construction, I just decided to sleep in the car, where I did sleep very well. But I could not get comfortable in the house that particular night.
Now, like I said, you've had so many different investigators here, and you've also had other TV shows. For instance, I know The Ghost Adventure has been here, The Taps has been in there, and anybody else, I mean, everybody else, right? Pretty much, because it is, the Travel Channel says the most haunted house in the United States. And
Not sure how we earned that.
I don't know. So anyways, but one of the most compelling footage I ever saw was one that Spooky South Coast took, which I thought was really, really cool. And this is the camera moving by itself.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I was there.
Oh, you were there for that? Oh. Do you want to explain it for us?
They had some camera equipment set up in the Jose and Knowlton room. Oh, I've got I'll got a funny story about the Knowlton room after this then,
cool.
too. And they had their camera set up on what we have as a toy chest. And they had their equipment set up in the sitting area, and they're watching the cameras. And you saw the camera move. And my first thought, and their first thought was, okay, somebody kicked a wire and pulled it, and the camera moved. But the problem was, if you pulled the wire for the camera would go that way.
Opposite direction.
So they went in, they reset the camera, and not less than a minute later, the camera moved again. And they got that on tape.
Yeah, you can actually see it, and they mention it. Well, you know, somebody pulled on the thing, and this is all on the tape, and they said, no, this is, you know, it was pretty cool. I saw that evidence, and I forget where I saw it, but it must have been when I was with 10 one time or something, but it was really interesting evidence.
And I know that they've done, you know, they do events there all the time.
Right, with Jeff Belanger.
South Coast. And there was something that happened. He would lay on the bed, and it would raise his feet.
I've never really understood what or why that was. Maybe he can explain it sometime, but I'm just.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. They just have a lot of, they seem to
But
have
you had
a
a
lot of
story about that
things,
room
yeah.
you were going to tell us.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the Ghost Adventures episode. When Zach went upstairs, the drawer opened on him in the Knowlton room.
I have not seen it, but maybe Ron has.
Well, that drawer's opened more than once,
Oh.
not just on Zach.
Okay.
It opened on my fire inspector and health inspector.
Oh, no.
The health inspector won't come back.
Seriously?
I was having my, several months ago, the fire inspector showed up. I get 4 inspections a year.
That's good to know.
I'm well protected.
There you go.
And I'm not sure the gentleman he had with him at the time, but comes in, he does an inspection, he comes down to the basement where myself and 2 employees are, and we're chatting. And the gentleman he had with him is asking about the hauntings in the house, and so we're telling him, and mention, you know, the drawer up on the 3rd floor, and the fire inspector looks at me and he says, "That drawer's opened on me." And he tells me the story of the last time he had been there with the health inspector, gone up to the 3rd floor, checked the lights, checked the exit signs, had come out of the Jennings room. He's standing in the sitting area, and he looked over and he's like, "That drawer was not open when we went in there." And so the health inspector, that was the last time he was there. And then when they had health inspection this year, they sent another person.
They probably drew straws.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, if it
Wants to
happens
go to the
on me,
boarding house."
you'll just pass automatically. Nothing more needs to be seen."
Oh, man.
So if
Wow.
somebody wanted to rent a room there, and where would they, you know, how would they do that?
They can go to our website,
Which is?
Lizzie-Borden.com, Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast Museum, and or they can call me directly. Oh, and the other thing we have now for all you fancy ghost hunting people, 2 nights a week now, we actually have cameras set up in the house.
Really?
Yes. So you can go online.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's for the basement camera, which is up 24 hours a day.
Oh, neat.
And then on the nights we don't have guests in the house, we have cameras set up in the Knowlton room, the one with the drawer opened, Lizzie's room, and the John Morse room.
Oh, cool.
And people can go up and watch the rooms to see if anything's happening.
That's cool.
So how does it work?
You go to our website and it'll explain how to get onto it.
See, it has the
What?
the ghost cams. It's Lizzie-Borden.com.
Well, I think I can
/
see with these glasses on.
Ghost-cams, HTML. So, I'm sorry, we don't have this in a lower third. But
We'll put it on our Facebook page.
If you go to the Lizzie, because I was on your site today, and I did see this, and I thought that was very cool. Just go to the Lizzie Borden site, and you can click on the ghost cams, and it'll explain how it works. That's really cool. Very, very cool.
It is?
I have a question. Now, you refer to these rooms by
Names.
By these names. Who are these people? Do they figure into? How do they figure into the whole Lizzie Borden situation?
Story, yeah.
The 2nd floor rooms are called the John Morse room. That's the room where Mrs. Borden's body was discovered. And that is named after Uncle John Morse, Lizzie and Emma's uncle, who spent the night there on Wednesday evening.
After she was dead.
Before and after, actually.
Yeah.
Ew.
He came to visit, and that's the reason Mrs. Borden was in that room the next morning cleaning up after Uncle John.
Oh.
And then we have the Lizzie and Emma suite, which were Lizzie Borden and her sister Emma's rooms.
Right.
The parents' bedroom is in the rear of the house, the Andrew and Abby suite. On the 3rd floor, we have Bridget Sullivan's room, the Borden's maid.
Okay.
And the 2 other rooms are called the Hosea Knowlton and Andrew Jennings rooms, named after the lead prosecutor and defense attorney.
Oh, okay.
Not that they stayed there, we just needed names for the rooms.
Right.
All right.
Could have always named it after me.
That clears. There's
That
no
was-
Ron Kolek room. No.
There's no wrong.
But
might be
thank
someday.
you. Yeah, that clears that up for me.
When I
'cause
come back to haunt you.
I had no clue.
I'm the next one haunting the place, don't worry.
There you
you
go.
The interesting thing is that the maid was Bridget, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I used to teach this class, Paranormal CSI, for Northern Essex Community College. And one of the groups I had this one woman, and there was this guy in Haverhill who was doing some rehab on a house. He was a contractor. And he opened up the wall, and then all the stuff started falling out of the wall. So what this was all things about Lizzie Borden.
Oh.
There were old pictures. There were actually artifacts like little boots, not little boots, I mean women's boots, they're little for me, but you know, the old-fashioned boots and stuff that I guess they call them boots, but I don't
Booties.
know,
It's
whatever
like a
they
Victorian
are.
booty.
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Lace up.
But a whole pile of clothes, I guess, because they're pretty much rags now. And he asked us to come in and look at them. There was a Bible there and some other stuff. And supposedly this was associated with Bridget because it turns out that this house had something to do with Bridget's relatives. Do you hear anything about this before?
Where was the house?
This was in Haverhill, Mass.
Don't know anything about it.
Do you know where Bridget came from?
Cork County, Ireland.
Right. And that was not her house. It was relatives, supposedly, of her. I don't know. They asked me to look at the stuff, and Maria and I came down, and I mean, there were some really cool photos. In fact, I actually have some. Did I ever send it to you?
No.
I actually will have to talk to you about that.
Nice sharing.
No, seriously.
Ron.
All I have it is one photograph, and then I have the picture of all the artifacts. But
Were they pictures of Bridget, pictures
well,
of
that's
Lizzie?
the thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know Bridget, what Bridget looked like. I don't know what Lizzie Borden looked like.
And how long ago was this?
A couple of years.
Nice, Ron.
Yeah.
You should know what Lizzie Borden looks like. We have pictures of her. We can put up
We do?
pictures if you'd
Do we
like
have
to
picture?
see.
Can I see Lizzie Borden?
There is a picture,
Do we have Lizzie Borden?
Russ, and it has like 5 pictures of Lizzie over the mantle
Really?
in the home,
Can we play that?
because I took it.
Oh, really? Yeah, we kind of
They're
threw him off
looking-
guard. But do
yeah.
we have any pictures of Bridget?
Oh, here's
Here we go.
the Lizzie pictures.
Here's the
They're
Lizzie
kind
picture.
of, yeah, we can't zoom it in, but I mean that's what she looks like.
Right.
I actually had a picture of her on the end of the cemetery tripping as well,
Oh,
but you missed it
evidently.
because you weren't paying
Yeah,
attention.
there's a
Okay.
picture of Bridget out there. And
There
there's
is?
a couple
Thank
of
you,
new
Russ.
pictures of Bridget that her niece sent me a couple of years ago from Montana.
So if I sent you this picture, and you could pretty much identify and let me know.
I could try.
I mean, I trust you. I think you probably know more than anyone as far as, I mean,
Maybe you
being
should
there.
have called me.
I thought I did. No?
Nope.
This guy was like totally nervous when he showed me this stuff. He was afraid he would have to turn it into the police department or the state police, and he thought it was actually forensic evidence that would held out of the trial that would have made some big difference or
Really?
whatever.
Do you think now? That's an interesting theory. Do you think the maid in some way could have
Bridget?
Bridget would have felt such loyalty to Lizzie that she would hide evidence? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think there was much loyalty there. But,
No.
Not for what they
a
paid her.
lot of people over the years have believed that Bridget knew a lot more than she let on.
Ooh, there's blood. Look at.
Oh yes, there's the
What is
bed
that?
upstairs with the blood. That's in
Oh, that's
the
our August 4th sheet.
That's
Yeah.
what?
The sheet we put on the bed for August 4th.
Oh, it's not like real blood though.
I hope not.
It's like candy blood.
I took all the pictures that you're seeing. I actually had I know that they're kind of short and squishy because it's the way
I was gonna say.
our switcher decides to digest them.
Yeah.
But they're pictures I took when we did our live broadcast back in 2011 from the inn. That's definitely a squishy picture.
I was
of
gonna say,
the
Elizabeth
dress.
Montgomery was not
And
happy.
don't we still have
There's
the
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 stairway.
promo on TogiNet of you and I at the Lizzie
We
Borden
do,
house?
yeah,
Yes, we do.
we're sitting on the bed I think that had the blood on it.
Yep, yep.
And
yep.
there's the couch.
There's the famous couch. Now, how many people have posed in the pose that the old man is?
Yep, there's the 3 of us.
Yep.
On the couch.
On the couch.
On the couch.
I'm sleeping on it. So, does our studio audience have any questions at all? Nathan and John, or whatever his name is.
Why was Abby Borden cleaning the room if she had a maid?
Oh.
Good
Excellent question. I don't know if everybody heard that.
Repeat it.
Why was Abby Borden cleaning the room if she had a maid?
Well, Bridget had no duties on the second floor of the house.
Oh.
Mrs. Borden took care of Mr. and Mrs. Borden's bedroom. Lizzie took care of her bedroom. When Emma was home, Emma took care of her bedroom, of course. And Emma, when she was home, took care of the guest room. Emma was actually out of town and visiting friends in Fairhaven, and Lizzie was certainly not going to pick up after Uncle John.
Oh.
So Abby was upstairs cleaning the guest room.
Wow. That's a funny, well, maybe because they would have had to pay her more
No.
if she cleaned the second
Maybe
floor.
they didn't
No.
trust her on the second floor.
They just, oh, maybe.
Maybe because that was the girl's private area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
the interesting
maybe.
thing is like in Downton Abbey, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard of Downton Abbey.
It's on opposite Walking Dead, so I have not seen it, but I am aware of it.
You're aware of it, right? It's a hugely popular thing. But in Downton Abbey, they weren't allowed to go up on the second floor because that was like the people who, you know, the lords and ladies, that was their rooms,
Oh.
and so they weren't allowed to go up there like visitors or anything because that was their private areas.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. Oh,
Yeah, so there you
that
go.
clears that up for me. Thank you.
Anyway, I know we're running out of time now, so anything you would like to add about, you got any events coming up or anything about the Lizzie Borden?
Well, August 4th is always big for us. That's in a
Anniversary
few
of death?
months, the anniversary. And our tours are very popular that day. So get there early if you want to have the day tour when the entire cast is together. Other than that,
When are the tours normal anyways?
I was about to say that.
Oh, good. I'm psychic or something.
If you want to visit us for a day tour, our tours are given 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the hour. Last tour is always at 3. They're an hour long. It's $15 for adults, $12.50 for seniors, $8 for children aged 7 to 15. Photographs are allowed in the house. If you want to spend overnight with us, you can do that too. You can visit our website and view the available rooms online directly, or you can give me a call at the house at 508-675-7333 and book directly.
There you go.
Or 911-666.
Yeah. Don't call her from area code 911, please.
So anyways, I know that every time I've been there, it's been an awesome experience, and you've been a wonderful host too, Bayo, so I do appreciate that. And you have a gift store there as well, right?
We do, yes.
With all kinds of little gotcha stuff.
Yes, and I don't know if people have caught what Leanne's shirt says, but it says everything I need to know about anger management I learned from Lizzie Borden. And yeah, Ron actually got me a mug that said that too. So
I did?
There you go. Yeah, you did.
We
You
also
bought me something.
we also now have children's things.
Oh,
we have bibs.
perfect.
One says, "I love my mommy to death," or "I love my daddy to death."
Awesome. Well, we have to get going because we just got our 1-minute warning.
Ah,
So we need to
so who dies first?
say our goodbyes.
You.
Start on that side. Sorry, Leanne.
I
This
will
would be
hurt
very
you, Ron.
painful. It's not very sharp, you know. So anyways, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching, for those who did. And what? And those who listened, we thank you very much too. And we thank our studio audience, our awesome crew.
Yes, wonderful crew. Yay.
And thank you for adapting with the photographs and everything else, and the words from the chat and everything. So till next time, good night, God bless.
We'll catch you next month.
Sure.
From ghoulies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.